This is to our very first show that we've been talking about for over what, a year?
A year.
Yes, please. So God put it aligned it in our path. And so I pray to the Lord that our words assist and help others. And so this is from Mother Nature, which is tequila.
Tequila.
Mother Nature, thank you for putting us together. So,
Artlist.io.
Hi, I'm Delia Escobar, and I am a mother, a divorcee, an entrepreneur, and now your host of You Deserve Fresh Lettuce.
And I'm Rachel. I'm Delia's friend. I'm also a mother. I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm also a divorcee and co-host of the new You Deserve Fresh Lettuce podcast. All right, so today we're going to talk about, on the very first episode, we're just going to introduce you to us, who we are as women, who we are as friends, and why we decided to do this podcast for you.
That's right. So, first of all, I'd like to begin by saying that I brought this to Rachel's attention a long time ago, and I am so happy that she decided to come on board with me because she's the perfect person to be here with me because of our history. So you would like to give them a little background of us?
Yeah, so basically, I'm just going to start with who I am and then how I met Delia, and then she can kind of take it from there. But basically, I'm an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur for many, many years, and it's been kind of an off and on relationship with entrepreneurship. And with that, I was also married for 20 years, and all mixed into there were ups and downs, divorces, successes, failures. And then I'm also a mom, and there was ups and downs with being a mom as well. And when I met Delia, it was like a fast friendship. We had instant synergy and connection, and I actually met her when my marriage was coming to an end after 20 years. And her marriage, I wasn't aware when I met her, it was on its way out as well.
Yes, it was. And that's why we're here now. You deserve fresh lettuce. Yes. So I met Rachel at a time where it was, in my opinion, a little bit dark. And as she just mentioned, she didn't know what I was going through, and I didn't know what she was going through. And it was a God's gift that I met her on my 30th birthday. So we have been friends for over 10 years now, which has been a blessing. And I think her words, I think God puts you in certain people's paths to kind of assist you in whatever dark and gloomy days are coming. So Rachel and I started working together, and through her words of prayer is how, I don't want to call it a manifestation, but I think that I knew that I was at the end of my marriage and it had to end. So Rachel's words of encouragement and prayer, she just basically gave me a very nice, beautiful verse to pray. So I did pray it wholeheartedly for about a month, and everything I asked of God through her words came to fruition. So asking you shall receive, and that's just really truly what it is. So do you want to kind of give the background of how that happened?
Well, I think that, so we're going to do a separate episode on the actual prayer and how that sort of
manifested,
unraveled things or revealed things.
Yes.
It was like going to the puppet show and seeing the strings, and we're going to really get into that.
Yes.
And that's technically going to be our episode 2, so you're going to want to stay tuned for that and really listen to that, because that episode is setting the foundation for the entire basis of not only our relationship as friends, how we've been able to survive and thrive after the divorce, and how we were able to strengthen our faith in a time when everything was falling apart, in a time when we should have been doubting and just completely a mess. We landed on faith, and it all started with this prayer and God showing up big time in our life, not only in our friendship, but like in our divorces and on our journey.
Of course. It's been pretty interesting to see that. Absolutely, it's pretty interesting. Yeah.
But Delia came up with this name. So some of you may or may not know, I actually hosted my own podcast called the Rachel Unpacked Podcast that I started a year ago.
Which I love. It's amazing.
I committed to 1 year, 30 episodes. I did it. It's one of those things that we'll talk about later, about staying focused and making your dreams come true, even after 40, even after divorce, even after kids, loss. There's been so many things on our journey. But Delia was like, I have this idea and I'd love to just talk to you about it. And so then here it was. And I was coming out of a business partnership where I had really gotten burned, you can say.
Yeah.
In a nice way of putting it.
You have 3-degree burn mark still.
That's why we have the tequila here. So the tequila is for when we talk about tequila moments. We're going to take a little sip. So we use God and tequila to get through all of our problems.
Our dark moments, like, if it can be fixed, just use a little tequila.
Yes. So basically, I had just exited a really tough business partnership.
Yes.
And I swore to myself I would never enter into another partnership with anyone else or do anything that separates me from my show, my work, my family. And then Delia's like, but
my heart, body, soul, and spirit says you have to do this with me.
So she has an awesome story of where she came up with the words, you deserve fresh lettuce, which you'll notice there's a bushel of lettuce right on, garnishing our beautiful table here.
Yes. So unlike my beautiful display here, I basically, being that I've been a divorcee for so long, obviously been through dates, good dates, bad dates, good relationships, bad relationships. And I was pretty much in a dead-end relationship with someone. And I think what really was that moment of awakening was when we went to have burgers, and I obviously trying to watch my figure, didn't want to have carbs. So I said, do you happen to have lettuce so I can do a protein style burger? And he's very nonchalant, not caring, was like, yeah, whatever. And so pulls some old, warped, nasty, moldy lettuce, and next to the nice patty with cheese, he just slaps it on my plate. And I'm like,
the nerve.
I was like, who does that? So I looked and I'm like, he literally just threw that on my plate. So I was a bit offended, and I guess normal people, would you think?
I mean, some people would have just said, that's some ugly lettuce. But Delia, being Delia, connected to the universe and satellites in outer space, kicked on, and the Zen thing happened.
Yes. And I was like, what is this telling me? At the time, it wasn't telling me anything, but I was just like, how am I even going to eat it? Is there even anything that's edible on this lettuce, right? So his friends came over. He kind of put me to the side, and I think it was that moment when I was like, it's time I gotta go. So I get in my car, and it's about a 30-minute drive from my house. It's a Saturday night, so now it's pretty early, so now I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm dressed up to go somewhere, and I'm just kind of over it just because he's not giving me the attention or the time or what have you. So I get in my car, and I'm like, that was so rude. In my mind, I'm thinking, I deserve fresh lettuce.
Yes, you do.
So
we all deserve it.
Yes. So then there was that moment where I was like, no, I deserve fresh lettuce in life, in business, in my children, in what I do, in the way I live. Everything has to be fresh. Everyone wants something new and fresh. Nobody wants old, haggard things.
No.
So then I think that's when it just came to me, and I'm like, I deserve fresh lettuce. And I said, no, you deserve fresh lettuce. And I, brought it up to Rachel's attention, and she probably laughed.
I think I literally laughed because I thought only Delia would God and the universe speak to her through dead wilted lettuce to show her her value and her worth. Right. But what I admired about it was so true. And how often do we just accept mediocre in our lives and in our relationships? And how often do we really have the courage to speak up and say, I deserve better?
Right.
And I know that we should choose our battles and all of that stuff, and not everybody should just end it all over wilted lettuce. But there was something bigger behind that. The fact that one of the things that Delia had mentioned to me was, it was kind of like a bar, right, where you can build your meal. It wasn't like he didn't have the option to give her better lettuce. Right. It was that he just didn't even, that's what stood out to me. It was like he didn't even consider that there's something a little better that he should probably put on her plate.
Or he just say, did the minimum. You know what, honey, it's just, I don't have anything.
Yes.
I'm sorry, just, I didn't even need for him to go to the store, right? Just, I'm sorry, this is not good enough for you. But the fact that he thought that the worst in the bottom of the barrel was okay for me, then that's what I accept. If I accept the bottom of the barrel and I just accept it, then that's just how life will kind of go on. So with that being said, I think this is where the show kind of commenced. And then I think a week later, I pondered on it, and I really thought, in life, you truly do deserve all the freshness and all the niceness and all the good things. So it's kind of like where we got going.
Exactly. And it really was like, it's such a unique, obviously, concept. And I thought, okay, how do we do this without people thinking it's like a cooking show, and something like that. So this is how we're bringing it to you, to say, even down to the lettuce, you deserve fresh lettuce. And sometimes we have to rely on ourselves to give ourselves that. For example, I'm single, and I have to remind myself not to settle.
Right.
Not to treat myself as if I'm not worth it, because we train ourselves to settle. Yes. And it's like, if that's the dynamic that I'm putting myself in day in and day out because I don't feel like it, or it's fine, then I'll be willing to accept that from another person coming in. And so Delia and I, we sit often, we have phone calls often, we text often, and we're just having these conversations that have really evolved, and some of them are so funny and some of them are really sad. And we thought, can you imagine if there was like a live mic just recording all of our conversations over the years? It would be
insane. I mean, the things that we say that we shouldn't say and the things that are not said, but there's been a lot of moments where we've sat at different coffee shops, or even here under, depending on our situation, and she's always been my strength, and she always has the most encouraging words. So no matter how dark it is, believe me, this woman will find the light at the end of that tunnel. Like, there is light coming through. I don't care what you say.
Yes.
So with that being said, this is how we started this, and we understood that our friendship kind of commenced in a day that was my birthday, and then so all these things have taken place. She's seen me through my darkest days. I've seen her through her darkest days. Now dating and understanding your worth, my worth, and what we deserve in life. And so here we are. So we are going to give you everything that our experiences, our life has given us, and just kind of sharing it with all our heart, body, soul, and spirit.
It's going to be a lot of fun. We want you ladies to come on the journey with us. We want you to know that we're your girlfriends, and that you are just going to be sort of spying in on our conversations. So bring your coffee, bring your tequila, watch with your girlfriends, join the dialogue. Our social media is YDFL Podcast. So at YDFL Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere social media is, we're going to be there. We are there. And so be sure to tag your friends, share, like, comment. All of your feedback is going to be huge for us. But we have a wealth of content, because you're looking at two women who, when we exited our marriages, we really thought in a year or two we were going to be remarried. Like, we literally, she's laughing out loud because it's an LOL thought and moment. Yes. And I'm not saying women don't do it. Yes. They do it. But we thought, even though it was like long marriages and whatever, we thought, this is, and the things that you learn, the things that we saw, learned, heard, felt, and just grew from, and a lot of that has to do with our faith. So, you may not believe in God. We do. Our entire foundation is based on that. So as you take the journey with us, just know that you're going to get a wealth of information and tips and support from us. But we're always going to have a little prayer for you at the end that you can say or not say. So we're just putting it all together like a fancy cocktail for you over coffee or tequila.
Yes, of course.
Of things that you can consider. You might be a woman who is stuck. We are actually broadcasting to you in the year 2020 during a pandemic, a global pandemic.
Has it been a pandemic?
And there's a lot of questions. We're in political strife right now in the United States. There's just so many things. And even that has brought us clarity, and even that has really been the motivation to come to you ladies.
Of course.
Because like Delia had said, how many women are stuck in their homes right now, stuck in their marriages right now, like
dead end relationships,
possibly
enduring abuse, possibly enduring maybe unfaithfulness, possibly enduring a lot of different things. Or there's also that unity. Maybe this is what you needed to unite your family or your partnership. But there are going to be a lot of stories, which I know personally, of people that are going through it currently, and I think it has a lot to do with the stresses that come through what we're living. There's just times that we just don't know what's ahead. We just have no idea, and I think life is like that as it is already, but we're kind of being controlled in a way. So there is nothing that you can say, okay, next year I'm going to go here, I'm going to travel here.
We don't even know.
Like, we have goals that are the kind of the unknown. There's a big question mark on the goal. Like, if I could, in a perfect world, I would.
You know how they say, we make our plans and God laughs?
Yes.
Like, we're even at the point where, like, do we make plans? You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's really at that point of, like, really laughable to make plans, even to go out to dinner. A week from now, we just don't even know.
If our reservations are going to be canceled. Should we go to the gym? Do we not? Do we eat Twinkies instead? It's like so much stuff. Like, do we work out? Do we not work out? Do we go to...
So Delia's all about the workout, and I'm all about, like, the comfort zone. So I'm like the comfy furry blanket, and she's the phone call going, out of breath, going, I'm at the lake. You want to walk around the shopping center with me? And I'm like, you're breaking up. I can't hear you.
Bad reception. No, I think that this pandemic has showed us a lot of different... It's either one thing or the other, where it's like you find the comfort, whatever that is, because there's so much unknown in everything that we're doing and everything that we're living through. So whatever makes you feel good, I mean, you got to go with that. Whatever makes you feel good, you just got to do that right now. And then just kind of move forward, That's the way I look at it.
Well, it's definitely going to be a great show. We're going to have lots of guests on, where the goal is to have at least one a month for you. So just to give you a little bit of a synopsis or overview of how the show is going to play out. So this is a weekly podcast. So you're going to check for us every single week. We'll be posting on our social media, letting you know the schedule. But we are going to have guests on board. And when we talk about guests, some of the names you're going to recognize, and some of them are women and people that you've never heard of that are going to come forward. Everything from like marriage counselors, religious leaders, even if we can have the luck in doing that, because our churches are closed. So even that's a challenge. But having women who are going through it, women who grew through it, and giving you that insight. So we have a huge list of women that we're looking to have come on board onto the show and be a guest right here at this beautiful table. We're actually in Delia's beautiful home filming, and we're going to have them come on board and share with you what they've learned. I mean, I'm talking women that you look at on Instagram and think, oh my gosh, they have it all together. here, and you're going to really get to hear the truth about that. Women who were married to very wealthy, successful men, giving you insight on what that is actually like.
Right.
Everything comes with a cost. That was something that Delia actually had said to me one day. We were in her office, and because she was an entrepreneur, she is an entrepreneur, and we were in one of her offices not too far away from here, and she had this beautiful life that you look at from the outside looking in. It was like, we had a joke actually. We were driving in her Bentley, and she says to me, you know, do you believe in manifestations, like vision boards and things? And I said, yeah, I use vision boards. And she goes, but has any of that stuff come true? Like, have you ever manifested anything in your life? And I said, yeah, I have. And she goes, like what? And I go, well, like everything. The only difference is you have it. I don't, but I get to experience it. So I was in the car that was on my vision board, and when I walked into her house the first time, I went, this is literally the identical model sitting on my vision board by the exact builder. It was just a different color, but it was the exact same everything. So, you know, we have a lot of these like spiritual connections. But at the end of the day, we were sitting in her office, and I was just saying, you know, like, what do people tell you when they see, you know, this? And she just goes, they think I'm lucky, but nothing comes for free. Everything has its price. And that was my first, that was the first smoke signal that she sent me. And I was like, I receive it. I understand, and I know with time it'll all come out.
I remember saying that to you, and I remember getting that quite a bit, where people would say you're so lucky, and I am lucky. I'm more than lucky. I'm blessed because, you know, there's a lot of things that I don't take for granted, just like even me sitting here and having the ability to see and talk. But point of the matter is that I said luck is in the eye of the beholder, just like beauty. It just depends. Not everything you see is really what you see. So sometimes there's illusion there. So don't be fooled by the illusions. You know, a lot of the times beauty and luck is only superficial. It's not really what your eyes are really telling you. Your eyes are lying to you. So that was something that I, you know, had mentioned to Rachel, and I think that's when, you know, because she saw the smoke, she realized that maybe there was something more there, and she was absolutely right. So because of this woman, though, I feel that I was able to break the chains and you know, kind of have a closer connection to God. So I'm very grateful.
And I am grateful
to you.
To you as well. And we're looking to give you that. So each and every one of you who listen, whether it's this episode or 500 episodes later, that's what we're looking to give to you. We are literally having to retrace 10 years of conversations, aha moments, spiritual breakthroughs. I mean, the pitfalls and how we climbed out of those pitfalls. We are retracing all of that for you so that you now can have the playbook and the tools. And let me tell you something that Delia touched on earlier. Although we're divorced, we're not advocates for divorce. This isn't a man bashing show. This isn't a hate your husband, you know, because he brought you wilted lettuce. You know, this is really an enlightenment show. This is really a support group, you can say, virtually, digitally, so that you, if you are stuck in it, you can just gain a little strength, a little light, a little laughter from what we did in your situation, and you might get another 10, 20 years or lifetime out of your marriage, actually. I cannot even begin to tell you how many women have come to me because they had seen my situation, how I got through that, plus my other show, and they've come to me, whether on DMs, in person, over lunch, to say, I have something to say, this is what I'm going through, I don't know what to do. And I think they thought that they were going to hear me say, leave him. You need to get out of that situation. And you know what? That never, it's the last thing that I ever say.
Unless you're going through in a very abusive relationship, at that point, I still think that person needs to make that decision, and it shouldn't be my voice or my words that are going to make you make that decision. But at least I can give you some light because of my experiences, but that's not to say this is what you need to do. I can only give you the tools, and then you decide how you want to use the tools. And so this is what we're all about. So it's not about bashing men or saying get a divorce or hey, let's throw a big divorce party. That's something that, you know, we had considered in the past. So this is literally just finding that inner peace, that love, that we know that we're not here forever, and then just making that work, however that is, whatever happiness that's going to bring to you just during this time. You know, what does that look like, the happiness of this time? So that's what we're here for, just to kind of assist and be extra girlfriend, just kind of, you know, have that moment of like, I needed to hear this today, like I'm going through it. And you know, if you're going through it, you know, you want to have a cocktail, a mocktail, coffee, tequila. You know, at the end of the day, we are going to touch on some really tough subjects. We just now mentioned abuse, and we're like kind of laughing through it. There's going to be those moments, and you know, not everyone's going to hear this first introduction episode, but we will be sometimes laughing through things that most people wouldn't laugh through. Absolutely. We're going to be crying through things that we're going to be looking at each other like, why is she crying? What you know? Yes. So sometimes the happiest moments make us cry, and sometimes the most frightening moments actually make us laugh. We're only human, but we want you to come along on the journey and just know that we are here for you. We support you. Again, we want your feedback. If there's a topic or something that you're going through and you want us to film an episode of that, we're happy to do that. Don't forget to keep an eye out for the podcast on all the major podcast channels. So you're talking about the iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all the major ones. If you're listening to this in the month of January 2021, we're good to go. You should be able to find us everywhere. Otherwise, you can just come to our website, youdeservefreshlettuce.com. So, that's a little introduction of us. So, cheers to a beautiful, amazing, blessed day. Tequila.
Enjoy.
Enjoy.